This is a submission uh, for the task that has been assigned for the role of backend dev intern at Loop AI. Uh, so the task, which is to create APIs which generate reports. Before I begin explaining my project, I'd like to show the database which I've created. The database basically consists of three tables which are used here, which are directly imported from the ingested from the CSVs that have been uh, provided using this ingestion.py file, and I've used fast API and PostgreSQL for the database. So before I get into the project, I'd like to demonstrate the uptime calculation. The uptime calculation is done using linear interpolation, where I've passed this function takes the timestamps for relevant timestamps for that hour, and then the start of the interval and the end of the interval. So for a given hour, it calculates the uptime. I'd like to demonstrate it here. So let's say these are the relevant timestamps for a day, and let's say the business hours of a particular store on a random day are 7:30 to 22:30. What my uptime calculation does is it divides the whole time frame between the store hours into single hour time frames, and during those we have these timestamps which might be active or inactive. In case they are active, and between the whole timestamp, the whole 60 minutes is added. In case the timestamp is inactive, as in this case, the timestamp that's relevant here is 12:30 to 13:30, and since the previous data was active, we have assumed that 12:30 is active. So between 12:30 and 12:48, it went inactive. So I'll take the whole period as inactive, and till the next point where it gets active, I'll assume the period as inactive. So in 12:30 to 13:30 time frame, the first 18 minutes are active, and then this period between this is inactive. So 32 minutes is inactive, and then the another 10 minutes. So the whole 28 minutes are active between 12:30 to 13:30. This is the basic walkthrough of how calculation of uptime and downtime in a particular period is done. What I've done is the implementation of the same in code, and for the last hour I've just passed the start time, and then the end time is nothing but 1 hour after the start time. After that, for the calculation of uptime for a particular day, there are cases where a store has multiple store hours in a day. Let's say a store opens from 12 a.m. to 12:10 a.m. and then it closes, and the same day it opens at 10:30 a.m. to let's say 7 p.m. So what my code does is it takes that exception, and it takes that into consideration as well. And let's go through the I've tried to generate a report for a particular store ID and a particular timestamp, because the current timestamp is not relevant. There's no data for the current timestamp. So as you can see, it opens a new CSV file, and it collects all the store statuses and current time zone using the functions that I've written here, and get store hours returns the array of store hours if there are multiple store hours for a day. And for the calculation of last hour, we just call the function to calculate uptime and downtime for last hour. To calculate the uptime and downtime in last day, we go through the multiple store hours and then calculate uptime for each store hour, each time frame of store hour, and then add up to get the uptime for a day. For the week, what we do is we check the time of the week. We call the database to check the store hours of that particular day of the week, and then implement this uptime for a day function 7 times, and this generates a report. The uptime.py here, which I've fed relevant timestamps for this, produces a relevant output. It produces uptime for each hour, as you can see here, 60 minutes and 60, 60, 60, and relevant uptime for each hour. And in the end, it provides uptime for the whole day. So this is working, but the generate report for relevant date isn't functional yet. It produces the uptime as 000 for some reason. I couldn't figure out why, but I've checked through all the functions. I've checked the implementation. Everything seems right. Uh, I need more time to fix it, but in this deadline, this is the progress that I've made till now. Thank you.